keep thinking that I forgot something that I need to add to this haul, but maybe that's just because I expect myself to have bought a ridiculous amount of books every month, and this maybe isn't quite as bad as it could be. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today for what is my July book haul. So I bought a total of 10 books, I think it was, during the month of July, which is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I keep thinking that I'm missing something, that surely I must have received something else in July, but I've looked through my shelves and I can't see anything, so I think this is it. I suppose if there's something else, you'll get a message at the beginning of my August haul, I guess. But without further ado, let's talk about all the books that I got during the month of July. So the first couple are actually books that I have already read. If you want to know my full thoughts on them, they will have been in my last video, which was my July wrap up. And the first one was Reputation by Lex Croucher. So this one I actually had pre-ordered. This is a Regency era, so sort of think Jane Austen times, historical fiction, which is described as Jane Austen meets Mean Girls. So it's about a character called Georgiana who moves in with her aunt and uncle. When she gets there, she sort of falls in with a group of other young people who maybe aren't the best people to be associated with, and it's about kind of the hijinks that ensue. There's a romance in here as well. It was a very fun, enjoyable read, but like I said, if you want to know more about exactly what I thought, check out my last video. But yes, Reputation by Lex Croucher was the first book that I bought this month. The second book was also a pre-order, and that was Anyway the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. So this is the third and final part in the Simon Snow trilogy, which tells the story of Simon Snow, who is the kind of chosen one character. He goes to a wizarding school and he is supposed to be fighting this character called the Insidious Humdrum. He's supposed to be the one that helps to stop him taking over the world. At the same time, he's also obsessed with his roommate at the school, who he believes is a vampire, and he thinks he's obsessed with him just because he's trying to find out what he's up to, but really he's a little bit in love with him, and it's about their sort of relationship. The first one is that sort of chosen one magical story. The next two are more about what happens after you are not the chosen one anymore, and sort of the mental health side of that. The second one is very much a book based in depression, and then the third one is very much about healing from that. And I really enjoyed this entire trilogy. Again, full thoughts in my wrap up, but as this is a book haul, let's show off how beautiful this book is. We have the lovely sprayed edges. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition, the sort of signed version of it as well. So it does have the signed paper there. It's got artwork on the end papers, and then also just the actual cover matches the sprayed edges. So I just very much enjoyed reading this book just for sort of aesthetic reasons. Every time I picked it up, it just made me happy because it's so beautiful. And I've said this many a times, we all know I'm a sucker for a pretty book. The next book I got on a whim because it was very cheap on Amazon. Somebody was talking about it in a Discord and was like, did everyone know that this is only £2.69 on Amazon at the minute? And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna join the pain party that is reading Robin Hobb. I'm apparently going to be reading Assassin's Apprentice. I say apparently, I am literally starting it today as of filming this. So yeah, this is the first in the Realm of the Elderling, which is basically a collection of series. I think there are 5 in total, like 4 trilogies and then 1 4-book series. This one is the start of the Farseer trilogy, and it tells the story of Fitz, who is the bastard son of the Crown Prince. And basically one day he's left on his father's doorstep, and it's then decided that the royal family will use him to train to become an assassin, because he is sort of close enough to the royals that he can be within that world, but also far enough away that he's not necessarily going to be suspected of anything, so he can become this sort of assassin that they want him to be. I have heard obviously many good things about Robin Hobb's writing. I just don't know if it's necessarily for me. It's more high fantasy, more sort of like medieval type setting, I believe, or at least that's what the cover leads me to believe, than I would normally read. But I feel the FOMO of everyone reading it on BookTube, and since buying this it's been sort of decided that Steph and Gav and possibly some other people are going to be reading it as part of Delayed a Ling Along, so I'm going to be reading alongside that. I'm going to try and catch up and see what the hype is all about and whether or not we're all going to cry as well, because when sort of everyone has been reading it as part of the catch-up book club, all I know is that they constantly cry at these books, so I don't know what I'm letting myself in for. Luckily this one is quite short, the rest of them get a lot longer as they go along, but we'll see how it goes. The next few books that I got were actually all from a shopping trip that I made when I was in London. But while I was there, I went to one of my favourite bookstores, which is called Gay's the Word, which is all LGBTQ plus books. And I obviously had to pick up a few things. I tried to pick up things that I hadn't necessarily seen in UK bookstores. So I picked up 4 books, and yeah, let's just talk you through what each of those are. So the first one is The Fascinators by Andrew Eliopoulos. So this is about a world where magic exists but it is frowned upon, and these 3 teenagers start a sort of magic club in their school, but then one of them ends up kind of doing magic outside of that club and falling in with the wrong crowd. That's all I really know about it. That's what I get from the synopsis on the back. And I've heard good things about this one. I've also heard that the ending is not necessarily the best, because I think the way I'd heard it described was that the ending is more what you would want from the start of a series, whereas this is supposed to be a standalone. So we'll see, but I am looking forward to reading this, and I will hopefully get to it sooner rather than later. The next one that I picked up was All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. So this one is actually non-fiction. It is a memoir. I don't tend to read a lot of memoirs unless they are by someone that I'm sort of particularly interested in. I will say I don't really know anything about the person who wrote this. All I know is that I've heard very good things about this book. It says on the front that it is a memoir manifesto about growing up black and queer, and I just think it sounds great. Like I said, I've heard nothing but praise about this one, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this one is like as well. Then we have another historical fiction. Actually, I'm branching out a little bit, and that is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This is set during the 1950s, and it is about 2 girls at a lesbian bar which is called the Telegraph Club, and one of the characters is Chinese American as well. It's during the height of the Red Scare paranoia, so I know there's also a storyline about her father maybe being deported. And it says on the back that Lily and Kath risk everything to let their love see the light of day. I again have just heard quite good things about this one. It's a newer release, and I'd sort of had my eye on it from before it came out, so when I saw it in the store I'm like, yes, I will pick this one up while I'm here. And then the last one is one that I am planning on reading fairly soon, because this one is one that I have wanted for a while. It's been on my wish list for a while, and that is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. So this tells the story of a non-binary teen who comes out to their parents, and they are promptly kicked out of their house, move in with their sister, and basically plan to spend their senior year under the radar, just trying to make it through to graduation and going to college. And then they meet a boy, and it is about their relationship. I believe it says Ben and Nathan's friendship grows, their feelings begin to change, and what started as a disastrous turn of events looks like it might just be the chance to start a happier new life. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I believe this one's been made into a film as well, so I would like to read it before that happens. Again, because I actually saw it in a bookstore. I've never seen it in a bookstore before, so I thought while I saw it I might as well pick it up, and this one is actually one that I plan to read in the next month. The next 2 books that I have are actually both Illumicrate books. So there was a massive delay with the June box for Illumicrate, because I believe from the earlier in the year Suez Canal situation, basically one of their items didn't arrive till weeks after it was supposed to. The June and the July box both came within 2 days of each other, which meant that I had a lot of sort of bookish related items to suddenly find a home for in 1 week, which was fine. You might be able to see some of them behind me actually, and it also meant that I got 2 books that I've been very excited for, because both of the books that were coming in June and July's boxes were ones that I was planning on buying anyway, but had an idea that they would be in these boxes, so I'd put off buying them. The first one being The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid, and I can't give you a synopsis of this one, so I'm just going to read what it says inside, and that is: in her forest-veiled pagan village, Avike is the only woman without power, treated like an outcast due to her corrupted bloodline. So when soldiers arrive from the Holy Order of Woodsmen to claim the girl for the king's blood sacrifice, Avike is betrayed by her fellow villagers and surrendered. When monsters attack the woodsmen and their captive en route to the capital, they slaughter everyone but Avike and the cold, one-eyed captain. But she soon learns he's no ordinary woodsman. He's Gaspar Barone, the disgraced prince whose cruelly zealous brother plans to seize the throne and instigate a reign of religious persecution and ethnic cleansing. With no one else to rely on, Avike and the captain form a tenuous pact to stop his brother. As their mission takes them from the bitter northern tundra to the smog-choked capital, their mutual loathing slowly turns to affection. But trust can easily be betrayed, and as Avike reconnects with her estranged father and discovers her own hidden magic, she and Gaspar must decide where their loyalties really lie. You have no idea how many times it took me to read that. That will have taken a lot of editing. This is based on Jewish mythology, I believe, and I've just heard good things about it. There's a lot of blurbs on the back from sort of very well-respected authors, and yeah, every time I see it in the store, I've been wanting to pick it up, but I knew it was likely to be in the Illumicrate box, and obviously I wanted the pretty Illumicrate version because we have the cover, which is different colours, I believe, to the one in store. We also have the sprayed edges, because we always do, and they're also starting to have more and more other things underneath the dust jacket as well. So we've got the artwork, which is just absolutely gorgeous, and then we have the undercover design, which says, "Will you tell me a story, Wolf Girl?" So yeah, I'm very excited to read this, and I'm also just excited to have another gorgeous book on my shelf. And then speaking of gorgeous books, the July book was She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. And again, can we just appreciate how gorgeous this one is? I'll show it you before I tell you the synopsis actually. So we've got the beautiful dragon on the front. We've got these sprayed edges, which are ombre, and the ombre goes around the entire book. So you've got the yellow fading into the orange, and oh, it's just so gorgeous. And we have the end papers, artwork on the reverse of the dust jacket, and then we have the dragon underneath as well, and it says, "She didn't just want greatness, she wanted the world." So pretty. And again, I don't know much about this one. I can probably guess that it is inspired by Chinese mythology by the front cover, but I will read you the synopsis. So it says, "Can she outwit her destiny and rise as high as she can dream? In a famine-stricken village on a dusty yellow plain, a seer shows two children their fates. For the boy, greatness, for the girl, nothingness. In 1345, China lies under harsh Mongol rule. For the starving peasants of the Central Plains, greatness is only found in stories. The Zhu family is mystified as to how Zhu Chongba, their eighth-born son, will achieve his lofty future. But for a daughter, no matter how clever or capable, an early death would be no surprise. Yet when a bandit attack orphans the two children, it's Zhu Chongba who dies. Desperate to survive, his sister steals his identity to enter a monastery. There, disguised as a male novice, Zhu learns she can be ruthless to avoid her fate. But when her sanctuary is destroyed, Zhu is cast back into a war-torn world. To change her ending, there's only one thing she can do: claim her brother's great destiny as her own." That sounds fantastic. And again, lots of blurbs from really great authors on the back of it. So I'm very excited about both of these. I think Illumicrate's just making some great choices recently. So the last book that I received is actually one that I've put off buying for quite a while now. So I read the first one in this series about 2 years ago, I think, maybe longer, whenever it very first came out, and I never picked up the sequel because I wasn't sure if I was planning on reading it, but I used a credit and got the audiobook on Audible. Still never got around to actually listening to it. But then for some reason, with the third and final book in the trilogy coming out soon, I realised that I actually do want to finish this, and I would like to have a hardback copy of this one so that I can have the complete trilogy in hardbacks. So I went and sought this one out from Blackwell's. That is Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So like I said, it is the middle book in the Aurora cycle, and I can't tell you the synopsis of this one without spoiling stuff that happened in this one, so I'll just tell you the synopsis of Aurora Rising instead, which basically is there is this character who is sort of the top of his class, training as a cadet, and he's going to be going out flying spaceships, doing all sort of the sci-fi goodness, and then something happens and he ends up getting put with all of these sort of dregs that nobody else wants to be on their team, and then they go on a mission and end up rescuing this girl who's been in cryo sleep for years, and things kind of evolve from there, figuring out what had happened to her and what that's going to mean for him and his crew in the future. And like I said, this is the second one, and it's going to finish with Aurora's End, which I can't remember if that comes out later this year or if it's beginning of next year, But either way, I'm hoping to be able to read this one soon so that I can sort of be back on track with the trilogy. I was a bit worried about sort of not knowing enough specifics of the first one and maybe having to reread that, but then when I was looking through this yesterday, there is this helpful bit at the beginning that says stuff you should know, book 1, and it tells you all the cast and sort of key things that happened throughout the story, which I think all series should have that really, because it's not guaranteed, especially if you're reading them as they come out, it's not guaranteed you're going to remember absolutely everything that happened. So I'm very grateful for that. But yes, I will hopefully be getting back into this soon, because like I said, I did really enjoy the first one. I don't know why I didn't pick this one up when it came out, to be honest, but I'm glad that I now actually have a matching set on my shelves. This stack actually looks a little bit bigger than I thought it would. I don't know why, if it's just that I've got some chunky ones in there. But yeah, I definitely treated myself to a few. And I know that August, I don't think there's many like pre-orders, but there's a few like special editions and then just regular subscription boxes that are due to come. So maybe I'll try and stop like just going into bookstores and buying as much. I mean, I didn't actually do, I mean, that's what's missing from here. That's what I keep thinking I'm missing, is that I didn't do my general just calling in Waterstones and buying things. The only like bookstore ones I actually got was my trip to London. But we'll see how it goes in August. Join me back here next month and you can see if I managed to sort of curb my spending a little bit like I planned to, or if I just completely gave up on the idea and bought loads more books, because buying books makes me happy. Right, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Let me know what you've bought during the last month, or what you've received, or what you're excited to be buying in the next month. And yeah, I will see you all soon with a new video. Bye.